what will my 2016 look like? What will your 2016 look like? And I want to tell you is that there's so much in me that wants to hold on to what 2015 held, and there's so much in me that wants to hold on and say, well, if we don't change anything, if we just keep everything exactly the same, then maybe nothing will change and we can all just stay the same. But I don't think that God intends for our church to stay exactly the same, because if it did, it wouldn't be growing. Right? And there's some reasons why that I believe that our 2016 should look different than our 2015. There's some good reasons. For one, I'm a year older, and that should make a difference in my life. I was sitting back at the desk earlier this morning about 8:30, and Josh was showing me, he was so excited, you all. I mean, Josh is kind of a geek. He gets excited about books, right? I mean, he does. Him and his wife, I mean, like Josh will tell you, like, I've got a break from school, so I get to enjoy reading my own book that I can pick out. And I'm going to tell you, if I get a break from anything, it's not reading that I want to do. It is not going to happen. I'm not going out and picking out me a nice book of an awesome topic, but Josh gets fired up about books, and Josh has got this whole commentary. He was like, look, I want to show you something, and he's like on display showing me all these books and these commentaries of the Bible, which is cool because we will use those. And he was like, I brought my Christmas gift to the church. And I'm like, awesome. And I'm trying to read like the last book, and it looked like James and Jude had wrote that book, and I'm like, oh, that's awesome. The last one was written by James and Jude, and I realized that wasn't James and Jude, it was James and Jude, and it was a part of like biblical characters, and if you wanted that book, you could get a commentary, and I couldn't see it, and I realized like I need to do something about my eyes. I need to go and get me some glasses so that I can see, because I have put off like not being able to see like a long time. But from a distance, I can't see anything, and I'm a year older. My 2016 is probably going to come with a pair of glasses. I can almost assure you, at least to be able to read with and see with from a distance. So I know there's going to be some things that's going to change. You know, I'm going to meet new people and be able to share the gospel with, and that's going to be different. It's going to be different people than I could have ever met in 2015. So, and the same thing with me is going to be the same thing with you, is that you're going to meet new people. You're going to have opportunities and a chance to interact with people that you never knew even existed in 2015, in 2016. All right? And there's one more here, is challenges and opportunities await me and await you in the year to come. Challenges. There's going to be some challenges that some of you are going to go through that you never thought, that if God would have said, this is what your 2016 is going to look like, you would bail out right now and you would say, no, I'm going to stay back here. I don't want no part of 2016. But some of you are going to walk through some pretty massive challenges coming up in the year to come. Some of you are literally going to have opportunities that are going to be presented right before you that never before could you have been prepared for. Never before would you have ever seen. But there's going to be opportunities that is going to come your way in 2016. And here's what God has been telling me about the last 2 or 3 weeks. Is that, do you know for your 2016, you have a choice what it's going to look like. You have a choice whether you're going to accept this thing that's getting ready to come on to you, which is going to be a new year. I know that a lot of you think, well, you know, I don't really have a choice. I got to go into 2016. I don't have a choice. It's just going to happen. And you are right. It's going to happen. But the truth is how you handle it will be the difference whether you have opportunities. Maybe even be the difference of how you handle some of the challenges that's going to come your way. It could be the difference of how you're going to handle some people that's going to come your way. You're going to be able to literally share the gospel with people that you've never met before. In just a couple weeks, we're going to have a guy that's going to come here, and it won't be a whole service or nothing like that, but we're going to give him, 10 or 15 minutes to share. But I challenge you in the next couple weeks, make sure you don't miss church. This guy is getting ready to leave again one of the jobs that he does is he feels like God has led him to, and it's a friend of our families that we've had forever, and he just started doing this. But what he does is he gets on a plane with as many Bibles as he can smuggle into suitcases. He mails them, whatever he can do, and he smuggles Bibles into Afghanistan. And like, if he gets caught, he's dead. And I was telling him, I said, man, will you come and share like a couple of stories of like your last, like his last experience? Like they were sending out like prayer chains, like, dude, we think he got caught. Like he's in a trunk, or this is really bad. We think he got caught. Please pray for God's provision over his life. And he's going to be able to come and share a little bit. So I promise you, don't miss. But here's the deal, is you never even heard of a guy named Levi. He's been doing all this in 2015, and nobody here has even heard of him. So that's going to be something different. It's going to be an opportunity. Maybe God's going to open up a door or a window to say, you know what? Maybe I can take some risks. This guy's out risking his life, and he plans on leaving here in the next 3 or 4 weeks to go off and do the exact same thing that he's been doing, and that's risk his life for the gospel and smuggle in Bibles in places that you aren't supposed to have them. I want to challenge you with this. I got 3 things that I want to share with you about being your choice. I got 3 things that I'm telling you, it so easily just rolls off the tongue. But it's so is not like the church. And it's not like me, and it's not like you most of the time, if we were truly, to be honest. 3 things that can change your 2016. 3 things that literally you can look at and say, okay, Earl, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to take you up on what you're saying. I'm going to do these 3 things. And I guarantee you, if you do these 3 things, you will never be the same. This year will be guaranteed to be different without a shadow of a doubt. First thing is use the church as a refueling station and not just something you just do as a routine. Do you know how easy it is to do things as a routine, but really get to a point where you do it so routinely that it doesn't really change you? Have you ever came to a church so long that you literally, you knew the demographic, you knew everything, you knew what the singer sounded like, you knew what the guitar players was going to do, you knew what the media people, you knew what to expect when the children's come, you knew what the people were going to do at the greeting, what they were going to do at the cafe, you knew exactly when they were going to, you knew exactly, like today, a lot of you came in here, you knew a whole routine that you could have laid out probably for somebody, and it would have been very, very close to what we've done. But it can become so routine that you literally leave out empty every week, even though you're here. And I'm going to tell you, a lot of us say, no, I don't do that. No, we all do that. I can stand up here sometimes and preach a sermon to you and literally walk out and not even feel like that I've been to church and I just preached the Word of God. And if you don't think that's possible, I'm going to tell you, every single preacher, if they were to be honest with you, can have moments like that. That's honesty. Why? Because if you can have moments like you have, I know I can have moments like I have. We can all come in here and do something and make it routine and not use it as a refueling station. And I was trying to come up with an illustration. Like God, give me something that would even make sense, even look like that. And he said, Earl, it'd be kind of like owning a car, driving your car, and driving to a gas station because you know that it's routine. You know that you have to go to that gas station if you're going to continue to drive that car. He said it'd be like driving to the gas station and then sitting there for 2 or 3 minutes and then just driving away. Maybe even get out of your car and walk in and go up to the front and get you a candy bar and go get back in your car, and you're parked right next to the gas pump at the opportune time. Some of us even come in the door of a gas station and we lay money down, right? Or we scan our card, and when we come in like, yep, I did my duty. I said, let's get $29 of gas. And we go out and we get back in our car and we drive away. And he said, it would be like that. And I'd be like, that's insane. Like, that would be insane, like to go in and pay for gas. That would be insane to go to a gas station and just go there and walk around the store and then walk back out and get in your car and just drive away. It would be insane not to pump gas, God. He said, I know, right? But he said, you know how many people do that? And it's just a routine. Coming to my house. So this year I want to challenge you with something coming up. You're getting ready. I love preaching a sermon going into the year before we get into the year, because once you get into the year, all of a sudden everything just gets busy. So I love trying to give you something to say, you know what, I'm going to really think about it. Before this year comes, these are some things that I'm going to try to do. I'm going to use the church as refueling. When I come in here, I want you to be intentional about it. When you come in here, even if it throws you out of your comfort zone, try to sit somewhere else for God's sake. There are people that will come in here out of routine and say, every single time I come in here, because I like routine, I'm going to sit right here. Just try to sit somewhere else and throw yourself off for a week. See how much more uncomfortable you get. It will make you a little uncomfortable, folks. I promise you it will. Use it as a refueling. Like literally, listen to the sermons and say, you know what can I take out of these sermons? And literally, really take them home and just implement them into my life. Like when you're singing songs and it says, you're talking about, like, Mary, did you know that your baby boy would one day rule nations? Mary, did you know? Like when you're singing that, are you really thinking, like, in your head, like how does this song affect my worship? How does this song affect my life? And then when you go out and you're getting in your car and it's become an intentional experience, you will go out and get in your car every single week feeling like you came in and you got something. You got something. So I want you to use the church as refueling station and not something you just do out of a routine, because a routine will kill you. Routine kills Christianity. And I love routines, folks. And a lot of people would say, listen, anything you do for the love of God, you're going to fall into a routine. So I love routine as much as anybody. I hate change. I don't like people changing things. I like keeping everything the same. I like just holding on to it. I do not physically like change. But I understand that sometimes I can do things in a routine so much that they don't affect me anymore. I just do them because it's the right thing to do. So I want you to use it as a refueling station this year. Second thing I want you to do is actually plan your life as a Christ-centered life. That number 2 is probably the most absolute difficult thing you could possibly imagine to do for people that are very, very, very busy. My family lives busy. My family lives around a calendar and a schedule. My family lives, man, I'm telling you, it's almost like, and I hate to admit it, but that's just the way it is. We are always slammed with busyness. And a lot of times, we have to look at it and say, how much of this is God stuff? And fortunately for us, we have got to a place where we have said, you know what? Let's try to make as many things as we do be God-centered. But not everybody does that. A lot of people just fill in the gaps with God around their busy schedule. I will challenge you with this. Go home today with your family. Sit down and literally say this. How much of our life is really Christ-centered? Is our life a Christ-centered? All the activities, all the things that we do. You want to know if it's Christ-centered? Here's all you got to do is put a definition on something that's Christ-centered. How much eternal value does it have in your life? How much eternal value does it bring the kingdom? If it doesn't bring eternal value, you might want to ask yourself, is this something that we're going to invest in? Because something that we invest in that's not eternal might not be worth investing at all if it takes you away from having a Christ-centered life. Amen. And that's very hard. That's very, 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 very hard to do. So I would challenge you with looking and say, how can I look at all the activities that I do in my family? How can I literally go home today, sit down with my family, and just pull a piece of paper out, draw a big circle, and put a dot right in the middle, and say, this is Christ. Our family is going to be Christ-centered. Now, everything else has to play second fiddle to a Christ-centered life. It will rearrange your life for the good and for the gospel. It ain't always popular. Not always popular. But it is the right thing to do. Because there are things that we can force feed down our families, not being Christ-centered, that literally bring no eternal value, that will leave our families empty in a matter of years. And we have a choice. Third thing, spread the gospel and actually do the plan of evangelism. Right? I mean, I tried to look at this and try to tie all these together as best I could. And I started looking at this and saying, what if I really did take God up on this? What if I really used the church as a refueling station? What if I really came in every week, man, and I was intentional about it? And I said, I'm not just going to sit, and I'm going to get up, and I'm going to sing the songs. I'm going to be uncomfortable. It's going to make me uncomfortable because it's not my flavor of music, and it's not this and not that. I was trying to think of every single thing that anybody could think in their head. And you know, I don't really like the way that Josh and Earl do this and this and that. I mean, but I'm going to be intentional about coming here. I love this church. I'm going to be intentional. And I was thinking, what if I got intentional about coming to church? And what if you got intentional about coming to church? And what if we really, truly, actually had a Christ-centered life? Like that, we planned it, man. We said everything we do is going to be Christ-centered. But we don't do three. Spread the gospel and actually do the plan of evangelism. If we only do 1 and 2, and we don't do 3, then we're really not doing the work of God. Because then all we look like is fine, tailored messes that aren't really doing the ministry. Could you imagine that the disciples, the 12 disciples, Jesus would have called them and Jesus would have said, listen, here's the deal. I'm going to make you fishers of men. And here's what I'm going to do, is I'm going to take all you men and I'm going to get you into a room. And he literally, and it wasn't routine for the disciples whatsoever. They literally had seen brand new things all the time. Jesus was questioning them. He was questioning the people around him. He was healing people. I mean, literally, the blind, man, eyes were open and the lame were walking. Things that they had never seen. They were literally seeing people being fed by the thousands with no food whatsoever. They were seeing something completely different. Could you imagine if they would have said, we buy into not doing something that's routine? Could you imagine if they bought in and said, yes, Jesus is going to be the Lord of our life? Could you imagine that when Jesus went away, if they would have went to an upper room and literally just sat there and said, okay, what we're going to do, guys, this is our plan. We're just going to keep it all in this room. Because we won't be tainted by the world. We ain't going to be messed up by the world. We're just going to be in this room. We're going to be as godly as possible. That would really not be doing the work of God by going and spreading the gospel, would it? It wouldn't be doing the plan. And I started looking at these 3 things, and it was like God was saying, Earl, do you realize that people actually have a choice in who I am in their life this year? And I saw this verse, and it's Luke 2:11, and it kind of goes along with the manger scene. It says, for unto you is born this day in the city of David, who is Christ the Lord. And I started looking at it, and I started kind of thinking about the manger scene here. And I was thinking, you know, when you look at the manger scene, and it's you got this baby, you know, Jesus that's in here. And I want you all to stay with me till the end. Do not get up and walk out on me, please. Stay with me till the end. All right? Because I don't want to offend anybody in here, right? Because I just want you to stay with me. So I started looking at this manger scene, and I started saying, you know what? I mean, you got Mary, and you got Joseph, and you got the baby, and I started wondering in my head, and I felt like God was saying, why do you do this year after year? I was born 2,000 years ago. I only went to that manger one time. Why do you keep doing this year after year after year after year after year? And I was thinking, I don't know, God. It's almost like celebrating your birthdays, you know. I mean, it's like your birthday, you know. And he was like, yeah, but I was only born once. It'd be like basically going to your house on your birthday and somebody putting like St. Elizabeth, like a picture of the room, like out in your front yard every year. And you're like 50. And you're like, dude, I mean, that bed ain't even there no more. They closed that place down and sold the whole building. The building I was born in. Like, why do you keep putting that out there? And I was thinking, God, what are you trying to tell me? He said, Earl, do you realize that some people want to keep me as the baby Jesus? Some people want to keep me in the manger. Some people want to keep me to where they can hold me. And they can just, you know, he's so cute. So cute. They want to keep me there, and because it's comfortable. The manger scene is a very comfortable scene, folks. I mean, it's comfortable. It wasn't as comfortable back then. But it was very comfortable in the way that we look at it nowadays. We can hold the baby Jesus, feed the baby Jesus, keep the baby Jesus, put the baby Jesus down for a nap when we don't want to live godly. Don't really affect our life. It's something that we can control. The manger scene is something that you can tailorly control. But then if you start looking at the cross, you can't control the cross. It's hard to control the cross. I remember, I've told this story before, but back when we was at 2020, I remember one Easter of just wanting to do this real live scene. And so we got a cross, and we made a cross, and I had a guy carry it down the middle aisle, and had some other guy put, like this sheet on, and we put blood all over it, and we were kind of just whipping him on the way. Crucify him, and it was kind of like the Sesame, Sesame Street version of the crucifixion, like a cartoon version, the coloring book version. Like it wasn't gruesome at all, and it was very tailored to not be that offensive. And I'm gonna tell you, as soon as that service was over, my phone was ringing off the hook of people saying that was too much, too much. It looked too much. It looked too gory. I mean, it just doesn't look good, and you're going to offend some people. And there was kids in there, and I was thinking, man, this is like the cartoon version of like the crucifixion. But I realized why they did what they did and why they called me, because it wasn't something that you could control. Folks, I want to tell you, is that Monday's coming. We've controlled the Jesus, and we've had him in a manger, and he's back there, and we've kept him controlled. But here's the deal, though. Monday is coming. That might not be this Monday, because some of you are off this week still, if you're in the school system. But what's happening is, as I look at this, and it's like God keeps on telling me, Earl, the 4th is coming. And when the 4th comes, here's what happens to our life, right? We go like this, like going to work. How you going to work? I go to work, all right. Hold on. I see a game. Woo, I'm so tired. Somebody give me that remote. Where's the remote at, Lord? Oh, hold on, we gotta go to bed. Woo. Well, hey, you're sleeping. Hey, what's up? How you doing? Oh, so tired. Oh, what are you doing? Oh, it's time to go to work. Hold on. I gotta go to work again. Woo! Hey, how you doing? Hold on, we got TV. Oh, watch the TV! Woo! Hold on, we gotta go again. I got a basketball game I gotta go to. Kids are playing. How you doing? You doing all right? What's up, homie? You wanna hang out later? Huh? Yeah? All right, cool. I gotta go. Work. Another appointment. Dentist. Whew, how you doing, doctor? Whew. I'm really tired. I need some medicine. I'm wore out. Oh. Okay, thank you for the medicine. Another appointment. How you doing? I was wanting to come over and see you. How you doing? You love Jesus? I love Jesus. I ain't got time to tell you that. That's our life, folks. Yes. As soon as the 4th comes, here comes our schedule. Yep. And what happens is Christ disappears. He disappears out of our life. We don't even know what happened. Where'd you go, Jesus? And Jesus says, I ain't in your house. I ain't in your house. I'm not in your life. How can Christ be the center of our home when he ain't in our home? How does that work? Where did you go? Like I had appointments and I don't feel anything when I come to church anymore. He says, well, that's because I ain't in your house. See, you have a house. You have a house, but you've elected, based on your schedule, based on your appointments, based on your calendar, you've elected to literally forfeit Christ being the center if it's not a Christ-centered home. Therefore, it disappears. Because of what we do, and we have a choice. Folks, I want to tell you, The gospel of Jesus, when it says, for unto you is born this day in the city of David a Savior who is Christ the Lord. That never meant for that baby to stay in the manger. That was supposed to be a live nativity scene that you couldn't replicate. I mean, Jesus was literally, everything he did had life to it. Do you want me to show you what it would really look like if we were really, seriously, 100% being a Christ-led church? If we were seriously, if every one of us in here were literally coming in every week and we were being intentional and we were refueling to go out and do the work, and we literally had our homes adjusted, that we actually planned our life as a Christ-centered life, and we said, you know what? You know what I'm going to do? Is I'm going to spread the gospel to every single person that would be around. And that means that if I'm going to go to work, this work that I'm going to go to, I'm going to stop for a second. I'm going to smell the roses, man, and I'm going to say, God, how can I glorify you in this job? God, you put me in this position. How can I give you glory, God? Every day, I want to communicate with you, God. Every day, God, I want you to be the center of my life. And God, if I'm going to be here, I'm going to change some lives for the gospel. Do you want me to show you what it looks like? This is what it looks like right here. So, God changed my life. And then I go, and I change my family. Right? And then what I do is, once my family changes, is I leave. And I go, and I start telling other people, come on. Come on. Right? And I start telling other people, what happens is, and then I go, and like, I'm not really stressing. I'm just going and doing the work of God, man. Come on. And you know this Jesus that I know? He loves you very much, Christy. Man, it's awesome. And then see, I'm just going and I'm saying, man, I ain't tired. I'm just going and I'm sharing the gospel. I'm just going. And I'm just sharing the gospel. I ain't tired. Why? See, I can't do it all anyway. Right? I can't do it all. See, all I do is I just go out and I'm just going to somebody that, I mean, you know, I'm going to go find somebody. Come on. Come on, beautiful. I love you. You know how much the Lord loves you. I tell you, the Lord loves you so much. He sent His only Son to die for you. And see, I come back out. That's what church looks like, man. Come on, man. Come on, Derek. Come on now. Come on, buddy. Come on, man. We're walking to the cross. See? See, come back out. Cody! I see you sit there, man. Come on. Yeah. Come on, buddy. Come here, man. Don't get away from me. Come on, man. I love you. Jesus loves you so much. See, yeah, you can't stop. You gotta keep going. Why? There's people out here that so need it. Man, you gotta come everybody. Make sure we get everybody. All right, everybody in the front. Everybody in the front. Come on, Frank. Everybody in the hallway. Hey guys! Hey, look back here! Look back here! Hey man, just roll over real quick. Guys, listen to me. This is what the church looks like. Right here. This is it. You want to know? You want to know what the job is in the church? The job of the church is not to walk in and sit down and chill out. The work of the ministry says this. Listen, do you understand something? What happened was very critical. You need to understand something. When I went and got the first person, and that first person went to the cross, I didn't win them to a church. I didn't win them to revive. You see, you lives, you change these lives. You lives change these lives. Listen, it was very critical you understand something. Do not win people to revive. Do not win people to revive. You win people to the cross. You win people to Jesus. Because here's the deal, is I only had to go get one person. And within minutes, every single person in this sanctuary was up there. And somebody else was getting. And I only had to get like 5 people. And then the work started happening. Started multiplying. And God wants me to tell you, in 2016, this is what it's supposed to look like. Not this. That's what it's supposed to look like. You multiply them. You get out of this church. You get refueled. You plan your life as a Christ-centered life. You go out and you evangelize and you bring them in. And once you bring them in, you expect that they go out and they multiply and they make disciples. And our 2016, if we implement this plan, will look much different than our 2015. Because that is the work of the gospel. Is to make disciples for Jesus Christ. Amen.